I think for me, to do anything really, it is consistency. And that's the key to success, I guess, if I were to give anyone advice. Because I have people ask me, I'm like, well, how do you do it?
Hello, and welcome to the People Run Podcast. I'm your host, Fitz. And today I have a good, I'd say, Strava friend of mine. We've been chatting for quite a while now here. A good friend of mine, Mark, here out of Orlando, Florida. As you know, the People Run Podcast is about runners, everyday runners, and how we get it done, sharing those stories. And I was happy to ask Mark to hop on, who runs pretty consistently in some pretty crazy hot weather out there in Orlando, but makes it look easy. You know, we'll talk about it some, and let's get right into it. Hello, Mark, and welcome on, man. I appreciate you jumping on. How you doing over there in
Fitz,
sunny
man.
Florida?
Good. I'm good, man. It's a long day, but it's hot. It's still hot.
You know, we didn't even talk about that. What's the temp over there right now?
Right now, let's see. It is
Summer's
90.
coming, man. That's
It's
scary.
90 degrees. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't run now. So for me, my rule of thumb is, generally speaking, is if I got to get the run done, or I got to be in that last mile by the time the sun comes up, or else it ain't gonna
Yeah.
happen. But I know that there are people here. I see it on Strava that are out. They're night runners. You know, they'll run
Yeah.
after work, and I'm like, how are they doing
I
this?
struggle with night, man. Yeah, exactly. How do you do this, you know, in the dark?
Right. I can't do it. I need to get my run done. Everything has to be done in the morning. I'm like a morning person, way more productive with work and the fitness stuff. It all has to be done in that order too. It has to be fitness stuff, then work, and then whatever else.
Agreed for me. I look at it like pay yourself first, kind of like get it all out, the hard stuff out the way, and then, all right, let's go into the work grind and whatever else.
Right? Because nothing's going to be harder than all that physical activity I just did. So hopefully work is easier. Hopefully.
And I find it hard, like for those people who night run, to like, okay, I just went through work mentally, my fatigue is on, you know, mentally I'm drained, and then all right, let's go do
Right?
a
Then you got
6,
to go
10
do
an hour.
heavy lifting
Yeah.
or running 5, 6, 7 miles. Like, what's funny, yesterday was there's a corporate 5K in Orlando.
I was gonna ask you about that. Yeah, I saw.
Oh yeah, oh you saw that. Yeah, so last
Yeah.
night there was like a big race. It's a yearly thing here in town where all the large companies participate. And so the company I work for participated. And I started doing
Okay.
this about 3 years ago. And I've been running for about 5 now since COVID.
Okay.
And so ever since I started doing this race, I'm like, man, why do they do it at night? Like, I hate this. But when I get there, I'm like, okay, all these people are ready to go. I gotta represent too. You know, I have Strava people
Yeah.
following me. They're gonna see this and they're
Yep.
gonna be like, bitch, I'm here too. Let's see. And then the thing is, it's, I still show up and I gave it everything I had, but it's not the same level, I think, as if they had this race at 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning. I feel like I would do much better if this race was in the evening, even though it's just a 5K.
Well, I feel like I struggle. Maybe you do. I don't know. Like, I like coffee and caffeine. So, like, in the evening, I can't really drink caffeine if I'm trying to go to sleep.
No way, man.
And I'm already tired.
Yeah, I cut the caffeine off, me personally, by 9 a.m., 10 a.m. I take a
Oh, that's
pre-workout.
wild.
I take a pre-workout in the morning when I first get up, and then I hit the gym, and then after I hit the gym, I run, and then after the run, when I sit down to work, I have 1 cup of coffee, maybe, and I mean that's it in terms of the caffeine. But otherwise, I'm doing like I still do soda, and it's all
Okay.
sugar-free and caffeine-free.
Yeah. I saw the goal that tells me caffeine. I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
it's like, oh, that's not the good one. It's not the good
I
stuff.
thought you were going to say Diet Coke, yeah, with a little caffeine in it. Well, I want to ask you about the morning routine, but before that, real quick, because I saw the time. The time looked crazy, and it looks like you've had an insane week, because I also saw a 10K. So what'd you finish in the work 5K? And also talk to me about the 10K you recently did.
So, okay, so the last night at the corporate 5K thing, I kind of got screwed. The weather was bad. It was raining and it was pouring. I thought they might even cancel the whole race because there was lightning
Oof.
and stuff, but they didn't, and they delayed it a little bit. But it was just so crowded and hectic. I had to find my company's
Yeah.
tent so I can get my bib,
Huh?
and I had a hard time finding the tents because they moved it. I thought it'd be in the same place as last year, and I don't read emails. You probably already know that. I'm like, I'm terrible at this. Just tell me where to be, I'll find it. And I found it, but I was late, and so I had a hard time getting to the starting line. And so I finally get to the starting line, and they're already singing the national anthem and stuff. So I'm at the back there's a runner's line and there was a walker's line. I was accidentally in the walker's line because I didn't know. And so I'm in the back. And so when the race started, I had to like maneuver my way kind of through because, I need to get it. Not everyone's going to be the same speed. And it's a huge, huge race here in town. So I found myself struggling the first mile just to get through all the people. So I didn't even know what my pace was. And so when I looked, my watch told me, okay, you're at, I think it was like 6:44. In my head, I was like, okay, I think I can keep this up. I think I can keep this up at least for 2 more miles. And you know what? I guess my training, I used my good shoes, which is the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2. I call them my magic shoes. They're my favorite right now. So we can discuss that later.
Yeah, for sure we will.
But anyway, I used the good shoes and I didn't even really pay attention to the pace. I just knew that I was keeping it kind of consistent. And also in my head, I knew not everyone's going to be able to keep this pace. So if I try and stay with other people, I don't really know what they're doing. So I need to just focus on me right now. And so I managed to keep the pace. I think I finished at around 6:44 pace for the next 2 miles too. So I
Yeah,
think I finished right around there. It was like 21 minutes. I mean, it's not my best
nice.
5K, but it was good enough for me yesterday. And so let's see. It was a 10 miler, not a
Oh,
10K.
10 miler. That's right. Yeah, that's right. My bad. Yeah.
And that was a few days ago. That was last week over the weekend. And so that was a sand race over at
Oh boy.
Cocoa Beach. So that was a different
Yeah.
animal. I've done the race before, like I think three. This is my fourth time, I think, and it's a fun one. It's a fun because it's all on sand. It's not a huge race, but I happen to like enjoy that race. I think it might be my favorite race outside of There's an Orlando half marathon that I like too, but I like the Cocoa Beach race. Cocoa Beach is about an hour away from here, and so that race, I knew that it was going to be not the best conditions. The sand, because I'd been to the beach the week before, and the sand wasn't tightly
Like,
packed.
okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's packed, but it wasn't tight. And when it's tight, it's almost like you're on concrete. But in
Yeah.
this year, it wasn't that great. And they also delayed the start by like I think it was like 15 minutes. So when the gun went off, I was near the front and I was having a hard time. Like after the first mile, I was like, okay, this is hard. There was a headwind because first of all, it wasn't even 10 miles. They had to reduce it because they were doing something with the beach. It ended up being like 8 miles and like 8.75 miles or something like that. But anyway, there was a headwind. So we were going south and there was a headwind.
That's
I'm like,
rough.
this is difficult. The sand is soft. And I knew I was doing well because no one was passing me, but I knew it was because it was so difficult. And I was like, this sucks. I know that I can't be the only one thinking that this sucks right now. But on the turnaround coming back, there was like two people ahead of me. One was a woman, and she was just gone from the get go. She was fast. I'm like, okay, she's fast. Not catching that one. And then there was another guy, and I think he was older than me. And I saw him, and he like left me behind too. And so I was just like in alone. I think for the rest of the race, for the next like 4 miles, I was by myself, but no one was passing me. But it was much easier on the way back going north because there was no more headwind. And so
Nice.
really, you're just maneuvering around people trying to get through them, trying to get back because they're still going the other way.
Yeah.
Anyway, I ended up finishing the race second overall men, and it was unexpected, but super happy about it because it's still second.
Yeah, that's wild. I saw you posted that. I was like, whoa, he finished second on a 10 miler. Granted, cut short, but still, you killed it.
Happy about the result.
Yeah, of course. What'd you wear in the sand? I'm curious now, like, because that's got to be rough.
I
You
did
know,
not
you're
want
wearing
to
a
rock
ski
the
shoe,
good
but
shoes because I didn't want them to get
okay.
ruined. So I actually
Yeah.
used the OG Alpha Flies, the version 1.
Ooh, very nice.
They did okay. They did okay. It was either that or the Vaporfly 3. But
Okay.
there's just something about that OG Alpha Fly where I feel like it gives you a little bit more bounce than the
Yeah.
Vaporfly. Like, do I like the Vaporfly? And I wear the Vaporfly for like all the marathons. I've never run a marathon in the Alpha Fly, but I feel like the Alpha Fly still gives you a little bit more, gives you a little something extra.
I tried it for my first full New York, 2 years ago now, and I was testing both. The Vaporfly 3 had just come out, and for some reason, I don't have the best foot. Like I'm flat-footed, so like the arch was killing me on the ones, but I did love the bounce. I had like a couple 20 miles. I was like, man, I love it, but I ended up doing the Vaporflies because it was a little less intrusive.
The Vaporfly or the Alphafly?
I ended up running the race in the Vapor, but I was training in the Alpha, hoping I could use the Alpha,
The
but
three,
like
the three for both.
no, sorry. Let me backtrack. The OG Alpha, I had a pair that I hadn't worn. I had like a year with them. I didn't even try them. And then when I started training for New York towards the end, I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna try these Alphas." And like, you couldn't get them anywhere, and mine were brand
Yeah,
new.
yeah. It was hard to get. Remember that? I remember that.
Yeah, they were hard to get, and people even after the twos came out because no one wanted the twos, it was kind of hard to like find the ones. But I had a brand new pair that I hadn't worn yet, and I had to let them go because they didn't work for me, unfortunately. And I ran New York in the Vaporfly 3.
In the Vaporfly 3. And you were
Which is
pleased with that
wild.
decision?
At the time, yes, and I don't take it back, but it's not a shoe I recommend for anyone first marathon, first off.
Yeah, yeah,
New York, brutal because of the hills and stuff. Granted, if you have great foot mechanics and you're fast and you've been training a while, great. It was just, I love them. I still have them now. It's probably going to be a training shoe once I'm recovered, but like
yeah,
I
for
wouldn't
sure.
recommend it for a
Especially
first
since they're so
marathon.
expensive. You use them.
Yeah, like that was a wild decision, but it was what was working for me at the time, and I did have a lofty goal, I guess, for New York. It was working on the long runs, and I was like, man, I'm just gonna go with the Vaporfly. And funny enough, they were brand new at the time, and now the fours are out, which is a whole nother story.
Yeah,
But
I don't have the fours yet, or if I'm gonna get them,
I
not sure.
haven't decided if I'm gonna get them yet. We'll get the sneakers in a bit, but I did go to Japan recently, and I stocked up because the yen is cheaper.
Real? So you got shoes over there?
Well, hell, we can come back to the work. Let's talk shoe talk, I
Okay.
guess. But I bought shoes over there because I noticed they were cheap. I knew I was going to buy something, right? Asics, the home of Japan and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Dealing with an injury, which I'm almost healed now, as you know. But I was like, I'm going to buy some shoes here because of the yen. They're all like $40, $60 cheaper.
What?
So, yeah, I
I
kept going
never
to
even
shoe
would think
stores.
of this, but that's awesome. That's a
I
game
would have
changer.
probably got more, which is a bad thing, but I went the week after Tokyo Marathon. It was just how the trip scheduled out. So stock was kind of low on
Yeah,
some
that's
stuff
what I'd be
because
thinking. The shoes would be hot right now
exactly.
because all the runners are there.
It's just like here, you got fall season marathon. If you don't buy your shoe a month in advance, good luck trying to find if you want a race day shoe, that is, you know?
Yeah,
So I kept going to places and shoe size was kind of scarce because the marathon and Osaka's the week before Tokyo on top of that. So you literally have
yeah,
20K
that's right.
runners back to back week in Japan, you know, getting shoes. And also for standard Japan sizing, I'm kind of a Bigfoot, I guess. So that's also sizes they don't carry.
Oh, so
I wear a size 10.
there's more factors.
There was more factors, but I found it anyway. I kept going to running stores and I was like, man, this is cool. And I went to ASICS, a couple flagships, and I also ended up going to Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. So I kept finding different places. So I pretty much, funny enough, for an injured guy who's not even that fast yet, granted, I have some lofty goals for the end of the year, have all the new race shoes except for like maybe 2, 3. And it's just because they didn't have my size. I got the new Pumas, some DVA Nitro
Fast
3s.
R3? That is
Not the Fast R3. Funny enough, I got a pair of Fast 2s over there on discount, but I didn't like them, so I'm not even using them now. I have the DV8 Nitro 3 Elite, the one that's not the Fast R one, though, the one that doesn't have the plate in the middle, the one where like everyone was using in the Olympics. It's the 2 flagship race shoes for Puma.
okay. Wow, I have yet to buy a Puma running shoe, but
they've been coming out of nowhere, and it
right?
seemed like a good shoe for those of us that like the Vaporfly, but
Yeah,
like a little
and it
bit more
seems like
stable.
these people are talking about it, so they're doing something right, I'm assuming. And you've tried it
They're
yet,
light too.
or-
I tried it on foot. I obviously, you know, with injury, I haven't been able to run, but it is one of the shoes I think I may end up using just based on everything
For the race,
feel-wise
or-
and top. Yeah.
Okay, wow, so it's on the list.
It's on the list. I have a pair of brand new Alphafly 3s.
Okay, so it's also on the list. You gotta.
I have all the shoes, man. I wanted to buy the new Adidas, but I couldn't find my sizing. Another cool thing about Japan is that they have different colors than we do. Like all those cool colors we see come out first, we don't get in America for some reason.
That is cool.
It's wild, man. And it's way cheaper. It's like your Pro 4 over there, I think was like when I do the exchange rate 180, 190, we're paying 250.
We are paying
plus tax.
$250 for race shoes.
You don't pay tax as someone who travels over there on top of that, so it's like a double discount. Yeah, it's crazy. What else did I get? I got the Asics Meta,
Metaspeed
not the new ones that are coming out,
Sky
but
Paris
the
or one of those.
Sky Paris. Yeah,
Wow, so I hear good things.
those I was able to try pre-injury because I was getting ready for the Brooklyn half here, and
Is it
man, they feel really good.
are you gonna use those? Which ones are you gonna use for your race?
So my,
Or
my
were
goal
you
and
going
thought
to
was
use?
I'm gonna use the Asics for anything half down. I don't think I'm strong enough to be using them on a full because they are very narrow in the back. I don't heel strike for any reason, but like you got to have strong mechanics or be really fast to like
To
use.
stay on your front?
Yeah, exactly. Like 26.2.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you.
So I'll see when training comes, but like I do have some halves and 10Ks coming up. Whereas where I want to use I feel like the Asics after the 2 runs I've had doing some threshold work, they're like for me at least, I like them more than I like the Vapor because you get a little bit more firmness.
The
But
A6ers
like,
that you're.
yeah, it's definitely a shoe I like for half and down.
So you said that it's more firm than the Alpha Fly?
Yeah, it's not firm like super firm, but definitely more firm than the
Really?
sorry, not the Alpha Fly, the Vapor Fly.
Oh, the Vaporfly.
Yeah.
3. Right. Okay.
Yes. 3, I hear the 4 is also slightly more firm. I haven't tried the 4 yet, but like it's a good snappy race day shoe. I think you'd like it too because you like Vaporfly.
I do.
So
I do.
yeah, I think you'd like the Asics for sure.
But let me tell you, I used the Vaporfly 3 for my last 2 marathons, which
Yeah.
were this year, the Florida Marathon in February and the Disney in January. And there's some regret of using the Vaporfly
Really?
a little bit.
Oh snap!
A little bit. I mean, they weren't PR races. They weren't the best races for me. I don't know if it was my fitness, but I feel like the shoe was a factor. The shoes were a factor. I feel like they didn't give me enough protection in the forefoot. I think if I had like other shoes, maybe the Alpha Fly, or in my head during the race, I thought because I wear test for Saucony, and
Yeah.
they sent me the Elite Boost, the Endorphin Elite 2s to test like several times last year, like several iterations of the shoe. And so in my head, I was like, man, those shoes are so much better, but we're not supposed to wear them for races, right? Because they're not out yet.
Yeah, not out, no photos. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a bummer. Because in my head during the race, I'm like, the Elites would be so much better. Because mile from 15 on, when I was dying, when everything hurt, I thought the other shoes would have given me that extra softness and cushiness that I needed at the time because everything was hurting. At Disney, I remember at Disney especially how everything hurt. I think it was at 18 through 26. I'm like, gosh, I can't even, like, I want to walk, but I don't even know if I can do that. So if I walk, I might just stop. So I better just keep going.
I mean, you're a trooper for using Vaporfly, man, because like a lot of people, I usually often hear this with people who use Alpha Fly, or like people say like, hey, like it's great for like the fast work, your 5K, 10K, half. But like for the longer distance, man, like, yeah, to your point, like I've heard that too before. Granted, I did my first race in them. I didn't know any better, but my first full, I should say. But um, the Alpha has that extra, the pods in the front and stuff. And I think you'd like the Asics. That's why I'm saying it. If you look at the Asics, either the Edge or the Sky. I went with the Sky though,
I
but
would have went with this
because
guy
I'm not,
too in my head.
yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not a
know.
cadence runner. The Edge is supposed to be cadence, something like that. I just like the way the plate is. But what I'm getting at, it has more foam in the front. So what you're saying is I think you'd like the Meta. One, it's a little bit firmer, which will help with the like not feeling tired, and also like it has more cushion on the front
Yeah.
in the ASIC. So it sounds like pretty much everything you're describing
Right. So that's like
that you would
I feel
like.
like I made the. But the thing is, my PRs are in the Vaporfly 2s for
They're great shoes.
for the full for the full. But I did a half, and I have them here because I used them yesterday in
Nice.
the Elite 2s. I did my half and I PR'd by like 30 seconds. And this was just
Oh damn.
last month, I think, maybe like 3 weeks ago. The Lake Minneola half here, it's like about an hour away. And I went into that race with zero expectations. And I haven't even been training at, you know, high speeds, like zero speed work. I've just
Yeah.
been doing like one long run a week on a treadmill. I've been doing a lot of treadmill because I feel like in Florida it's so hot.
Yeah.
It's hard to do fast stuff outside, especially in as it gets closer to summer. But having a treadmill is a game changer. And since I'm going to the gym every day anyways, it's the convenience factor with the time. I can get a lot done without having to drive somewhere another 30 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
So that the convenience factor is a big one for me in terms of running. But having that shoe, man, that Elite 2, that's a huge recommend for me. I'm gonna use that right now. That's the shoe of choice at this moment for Chicago.
It's funny when I was in Japan, they had just come out.
Mhm.
And like I think halfway into my trip is when they came out, and I saw them. I held them. I was like, "Man, this feels soft,
It's
like in a
soft.
good way." Uh, Damn. So what was the PR you hit for the half?
For the half, it was 130, 40 something. I
Oh
haven't
man,
hit sub
fast.
90. I haven't hit sub 90 yet. But
Almost there though.
I mean, it's close. But let me tell you, man, I'm getting older, and I'll be 45 this year, and I feel like,
No way.
yeah, thank you. But
Yeah, I just want to say congrats, man. I thought you were younger,
you
from all
did?
the,
You really thought that?
I figured like higher 30s, maybe early 40s, and because you lift and we'll get into that in here in a bit, but like you lift, you're very active and stuff, and you got some fast time. So
Wait,
congrats,
for
man.
some
Kudos.
people.
You're what I want to be. I'll put it that way.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
That's awesome.
But it's all about the training and what you
Yeah, of course.
put into it and what you decide to do. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it. And I don't know. It's like 130 and change.
Okay. I feel like you can get there. I mean, especially if you said you did this without even like focusing and training for it. Obviously, the training, the discipline, what you have is there.
So
The
that's another thing
consistency.
about me. I don't really do a lot of structured training. I mean, I'm running all the time. I'm running every day, almost every day, at least 6 days a week. 50 miles a week is always my goal. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
It does. Okay.
But when I'm starting to prepare for a race, I mean, obviously it's going to be different for a marathon, because then, okay, you really have to do stuff for that. You have to do the long runs. You got to do some speed work. Nobody wants to do speed work, but no matter how you do it, it has to happen, or else, especially if you have a goal in mind. It's one
Yeah.
thing if you just want to conquer the distance, which is hard enough as it is. But I feel like if you have a goal in mind, you have to do the things, whatever the things might be, in order to achieve it. And to me, that is doing at least a couple 20 milers and one speed workout a week. I mean, I think to me is the bare minimum, because I've never had a coach or
Gotcha.
anything like that, right? So just from what I've seen with other people doing is what I've been basing most of my training on. And it's just because I dislike running. So I'm always running anyways. So if someone were to call me tomorrow and say, "Hey, let's go do a half." There's a half. I'm like, yeah, I can do a half. 26 might be
Yeah.
different, but I'll do a half. It's a long run. We can do that.
I mean, from seeing your runs, I think you said it. You hit it right on the head, man. It's funny. I said this earlier, but I just realized I never really posted it on Strava. So like, end of last year, I got certified to be a coach, just out of passion. Like I was just like, it's not that expensive, and like I would study this anyway. And I'm one of those. I always say there's two types of runners, right? And we talk running all the time. Like there's the Kipchoge's of the world who they're into all the data, like granted they run a lot easier in Kenya, and like they don't complicate similar to your running style they're running, but like he has like the glucose monitor, and Nike with
Yeah,
great
there's
shoes,
everything. They're watching
and they
everything,
test.
every move.
Exactly, right. And granted, and he's into all the recovery and fitness and strength training. And then you have the Kelvin Kiptons of the world, right, who broke the world record, or like some of these Kenyan or very fast elite people who are like, I just run a lot of miles and go super fast on the race, and they just go like all in
That's
on the race
crazy.
and super fast. There's always two. There's the analytical runner and the runner that's just like, let's just run, and I'll jump into a race, and next thing you know, they're just flying by you.
Right? I mean, it might just be their day.
Yeah, and it's just something to be said about being consistent and running daily. I mean, for those listening, and I guess we can segue into that here real quick, but for those listening, funny enough, those of us that see Mark on Strava, we joke, he has every morning this guy runs a 7 mile, same loop,
It's the
consistent.
same. Yeah.
It's almost like a heart in the middle of the run.
Yeah,
Too,
that's where the
which is
neighborhood is.
hilarious. And it's, you're doing what you need to be, that foundation, right? Building the base, you're doing that part, which is really what matters most, because you can do the speed work later and stuff. But like once you got the miles in the base, you got the hard part out the way, which is getting out the door and doing it consistently. The rest will come easy, man.
I think that's
But
a
like,
good way to put it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like if you look at any running plan, they're like, hey, you need to build mileage for pacing. And then somewhere in the middle, okay, let's work on some speed work. And then towards the end, right, it's called prioritization. Towards the end, then they start focusing on the actual race. Like, okay, this is the goal we want to hit. Let's start throwing some mileage
Yeah,
for the race.
You have to run that
right?
pace sometimes.
Yeah, right. But like you have the bulk of the base, which is what people struggle with. People are like, "Hey, I want to do a marathon," and they run. Nothing knocking anything about it. You just got to respect the distance. People
You
do
do
like
have to
20
respect
miles
the
a week.
distance, or you'll learn the
Yeah,
hard way.
you can do 20 miles a week, and that's fine. You're getting
You're
fitness, and
running,
but
yeah,
like
you're a runner.
26, you gotta put some base in.
Yeah, 26 in one time, Jesus Christ. Even when I think about it, it's daunting. It's like
I think
far.
you'll be fine, man. You have some great times already, and obviously you run consistently already. I'm always down to help. Just let me know, shoot me a message and stuff. But like, what I want to ask you is like, how did you get that way? To backtrack a little bit, like, you got work, right? You get in the runs every morning. Tell me about like your daily routine and how you got that consistent.
So I started running in sorry, I eat Twizzlers. Twizzlers is
You
like
good, man? Carbs.
that's the one thing, my number one snack. This is a, what do you call it? Subscribe and save. That's why I
Yeah.
subscribe and save. Anyway, back in 2020, it was actually the end of 2019. I did blood work and stuff,
Okay.
and then the nurse was like, "Your cholesterol's high." I was like, "Okay,
Okay.
damn it. What can I do? I guess I should try and fix my diet and be better at that." And then COVID happened, and so they shut my gym down. And I was like, well, I told the nurse I was gonna be better.
Yeah.
Maybe I can start running because I was already doing a few miles on the treadmill, like 1 mile, two. I think I got to three on the treadmill at the gym after lifting because I was always lifting for the last how many years, like forever since college. I was always lifting, and maybe more consistently since 2010. Um, but it's always been there, the fitness stuff, at least working out, going to the gym. I used to play basketball with friends, when we were
Nice.
younger. When I say younger, I'm like 20s, but
Okay. Still young, man. You rocking out.
right. But once we all got into our 30s, not so much. And then really, no one had the time. Everyone started having kids. I don't have kids. So I kept going to the gym. So 2019, the nurse told me I need to get my cholesterol right. So I stopped eating meat for a little while, not for a long period. So I stopped eating meat. The gym closed, and so I had nothing to do. So I was like, let me just take it outside instead of that time, that block of time, that hour or two before work. I took it outside instead of going to the gym. And it started with, let me see if I can do 2 miles. I know I can do three, but it's hot out here. It's hot outside. So I just went outside and I went for one. And then the next day I did it again. The next day I did it again. And then I was like, you know what? I can probably do more. So I would do four or three, and then it'd be a walk. There'd be a walk because I couldn't do it. But then I kept going. I'm like, well, that's fine. Maybe tomorrow I can do four without having the walk in there. Or maybe I can do five, even if I have to walk. Fuck it. At least I'm going.
Yeah.
At least I'm doing it. And so I
Yeah.
just kept doing it. And I just kept doing it and doing it. And I think it was like 6 months. I didn't eat any meat. Was it
Wow.
any
Okay.
meat? So no meat. And then the running built up in that small amount of time, that 6 months became every day. It almost became an obsession because I started, we were all inside because of COVID, and I was watching all these YouTube things and learning about all these shoes. And I'm like, man, these shoes are cool, man. That's going to help me run better without having to walk. It's going to make it easier. If this shoe is going to make it easier, sign me up because it's getting hard now. It's hot. And so I just kept doing it, man. And eventually the gym opened back up. And granted, I had lost a bunch of weight because I just kept running and I wasn't lifting anything and I wasn't eating any meat and I had stopped taking the protein shakes, but I was feeling light, and I felt good. Like my energy levels were up,
Yeah.
except for during the day in general because I'm tired from all the running. But I just felt it's different. It's like a different energy, a different vibe where I'm tired, but I don't feel defeated. And so when they opened the gym back up, I started going again. And I had to actually, I mean, it didn't take long, but I was able to lift the same amount of weights. But I really,
No way.
really didn't want to give up the running because I'm like, the running took me here. And so I was like, how am I going to do this? Because now there's two things I want to do. Now what am I going to do with that time? Because the work schedule didn't change. Still have to be at work at 7. So I was like, screw it. I'll just wake up earlier. So I started waking up at 4, and so now and to this day, the schedule hasn't really changed much. It's get up around 4, be out the door around 4:50 to get to the gym. The gym is like from 5 to about 5:35. Get back home, change the shoes, and get out the door so I can be out the door to run by 10 to 6. And I have an hour to run, get home, shower, log into work. I work from home, so I'm lucky in that department.
Yeah.
But the schedule doesn't change, you know? And I think for me, to do anything really, it is consistency. And that's the key to success, I guess, if I were to give anyone advice. Because I have people ask me, I'm like, well, how do you do it? I hate it. I'm like, well, I don't know. I didn't love it right away. I just had to keep doing it. And now it's just part of my day.
Yeah, there's always that like beginning a run, because your story is similar to mine. It just, well, we started around the same time, and it's just, I'll try walk run, and then walk run turns bigger and bigger, and then you get consistent. But like something to be said about like the consistency. What I'm getting at is it's never fun in the beginning, and then
It's never
you
fun.
start liking it.
They think that you just woke up and
Yeah.
you were good at it. Like, no,
Yeah.
man, it sucked. I didn't like it.
Yeah, that first month or two, where like, I mean, eventually you're just walking, running, and then you're running more, and then it's like, okay, now I feel slow, and then you get faster, and then it becomes addicting. You're like, oh, the shoes kill me. Oh, I'm getting faster. Oh, races.
Yeah. Like, I got a
But
watch. I'm like,
it
man,
takes,
there's a watch keeps track of this stuff?
yeah,
Oh my God. Because I used to just use my phone, you know?
same Nike app,
Yeah, the Nike
the
app,
Nike
the
Run
Nike
Club.
Run Club
Yeah,
app. I still have it, man. I'm on Volt now. I never thought I'd get to Volt.
that and Coach Bennett in my headphones. I don't use headphones no more, but it was like, oh, try this run, try this workout, and that's kind of where it all started, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever circle back with the nurse? Like, when did you, for
I
the
did.
cholesterol? Like, hey,
I did.
okay,
So so that was the end of 2019. So it was like the end of 2020, and I went back, and she was like,
okay,
"Oh my, so you look great." I'm like, "Thanks. I lost some weight." And then the blood work came back, and then that's when
uh-huh.
she was like, "Oh, so you changed everything." I'm like, "Yes, I did all the things." But I told her, I think it's the running. I started running, and I never stopped running. And they say that now every year when I get my blood work, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I think it's the running." Because ever since then, I've never had that red. You know what I'm talking about when they have like the red when you do blood work. I don't know if you.
Oh, yes, yes, I know what you're talking
I'm
about. They
like,
tell
oh,
you,
they
and
have
then it's
something in
like, these
red.
are red. Yeah.
You know, it's not good, right? And it's like, oh, something's in red. So now I don't have anything in red. So I try to keep it that way, and I'm almost like anal about it now because I never wanted to see the red again.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, similar to you, I don't get them anymore, luckily. And to me, it's also the running, because like the heart is getting more efficient. But yeah, when you see I get blood work now a little bit more frequently just to make sure I'm good on things. And it's like, yeah, you never want to see that red on anything,
You don't,
on nothing.
because then you start to worry. I'm like, how am I gonna fix this now?
I think I saw it once on sodium, and like, obviously I Googled it, which is bad advice for anyone listening. Don't Google the stuff that's on
Right?
your
I
blood
Google it
work.
every single time. I'm like, what is
Don't
this?
self-diagnose. But eventually I went to the doctor like a week or two after, like, hey, I just want to schedule an appointment to go over this blood work. And it was like, no, this is totally fine, whatever, especially for you. Like it. And I started pulling back, like, okay, maybe my gel has too much sodium, or maybe I'm throwing too much salt on this food. And it was like 0.2 over, nothing
Oh, it's
crazy.
like not even a real threat.
And we need it as runners, because like, sodium intake is not, I feel like in America we have a lot of high sodium, but like when you're running it, it offsets, and you kind of need a little bit of it,
Yeah.
for hydration and stuff.
It's my
But yeah,
excuse for
I
eating
agree with
ramen
you.
so much.
Oh man, I love ramen,
Yeah.
man, and I already missed the ramen from Japan. I
That's
tried
probably
making my
another
own.
level, I'm assuming.
Man, it's like $8-10, and it's like a level that I don't care
Really?
if it was $100 here. It would never equate to the same.
I'm gonna have to get
The
over
food
there
is so
at
awesome.
some point. Jeez.
So I've traveled a little bit. I wouldn't say like a lot, but Japan went to my favorite country list, which is insane. I already want to go back. And at some point I want to do a major there, the Tokyo Marathon, which I was supposed to do 2 years ago.
Is that
but
hard to get into that? Is that
so at the time when I got in, apparently it was the hardest.
you got into that
And
one?
I got in right before I moved to Colorado, and then I moved to Colorado, and unfortunately between altitude and moving, I couldn't train for it, so I didn't go, and then realized after it was the hardest race to get into. And I say used to be because I feel like now a lot of these majors are getting insane. And
It's
I don't know if you saw
impossible.
recently. Yeah, it's like impossible to get in. They're which is fine. You know, I'm more of a newer runner, and I was just talking to one of my friends recently. Like, there's so many good marathons in America, and even globally to do. You know, at some point I want to do all 6, but Tokyo's hard. But like, it's any excuse to go to Tokyo or Japan at all at this point is all welcome after that trip.
Wow, I believe you. I believe you. I would like
Yeah,
to have the marathon excuse myself.
yeah, and ramen is just, oh man, you should go 100%.
Noted. Yes.
So what's your diet like nowadays? You know, granted you're eating ramen
And
and
Twizzlers.
Twizzlers, but hey, carbs. You know.
Yeah. Well, I eat okay. I eat my diet's not the worst, but it's not the best either. And it also kind of depends on is a race coming up? If I'm doing a race, I will be a little bit stricter. I will try not to eat heavy like meat, or if I do eat meat, like let's say I'm training for a marathon, like Chicago's coming up. So leading up to that, while I'm training and doing the long runs, I will probably not eat a lot of meat or red meat, and I'll try to keep it chicken and fish and nothing fried. Rice is a staple in my diet, and bread. I like bagels. And the problem with me is I do have a sweet tooth. That hence the Twizzlers. I'm constantly eating sweets, and that's not the greatest. But I don't know. There's just some things I can't let go of. You know, one thing that I have noticed over the last probably the couple years is I drink less alcohol now, and I think
Yeah.
that has been a bit of a game changer, a little bit in terms of recovery and rest because
Yeah,
my,
of
my
course.
sleep is just not good if I have a couple glasses of wine or some beer.
Well, it's hard with alcohol and alcohol. Funny enough, for some reason, when we start running and we get somewhat serious, almost everyone I know stops alcohol. I've personally stopped, and it kind of started with running. It wasn't like intentional. It was just like, I want to perform, and this has
Yeah,
not helped me perform.
it doesn't help you
Almost
perform, trust me. But
the sleep goes to crap.
yeah,
Inflammation goes high, you know, like you don't feel good the next day. We're getting older. It's
yeah,
not like when you're 20 and like, oh, okay, next day, let's go.
it's tough. It's tough. But the thing
Yeah.
is, I miss hanging out with my friends and doing that. And I'll still hang out, and I
Yeah.
will drink. I'm still gonna do it, but I
Yeah.
will feel it. I'll notice
Yeah.
okay, Garmin's. How the hell does Garmin know? But it knows. Garmin's telling me you're drinking, you're not recovering, you're all in red, everything's orange now. So that is one thing I noticed that I have reduced in the last couple of years, and it has helped, I think, in my training,
Yeah, for sure.
because I would still drink all the time before, like maybe a glass of wine a day. Like this went on forever, and I would still run and work out and do all the things. It'd be fine, but there's a little bit of a difference when you stop it, and I can
Yeah.
tell.
Agreed.
It's crazy.
It's running, I mean, is a healthy thing in general, but it's crazy what starts to change as you get more consistent. And it's you've been consistent for quite a while, and even 6 months in from when you started, like there's a lot of trade-offs that just naturally I've seen happen with a lot of runners. You know, alcohol, you're still social, but like, you know, you got a lot of time running. So like maybe your Saturday mornings are like, hey, long run.
Yeah,
I ain't doing that, you know, like the missus, wife, you know, partner, whatever. You're just like, oh, we can do that after 12.
yeah. It's everyone. Everyone knows. Like, oh, this guy's
You
going home.
travel
This guy's
more.
going home. Yeah, I'm going home. I'm tired. I sleep at like 8.
Damn, that's wild.
I'll
Well,
go.
you got to wake up at 4.
Yeah. Well, what time do you go to bed typically?
Well, typically, like for me, it's 9:10.
Okay.
I'm on a little bit of a break from work right now, so it doesn't matter too much. But I still try to get early because we're not in summer yet, and big difference from Florida to Colorado right now. Like our weather's now starting to get
So
hot,
it's hot
and it's nowhere.
there.
No,
No.
it's beautiful right now. It's
No
perfect.
kidding.
But like, it's on and off, man. Like spring in Colorado is bipolar. It's like spring is like you're either going to get a lot of wind and it's going to be cold, or the next day is going to be 70, which is all great weather compared to Florida. I mean, I lived in Florida, Miami, and like, kudos to you, man. I mean, I would also wake up early over there in your shoes, and I did. I started my running in Florida. I can't do the humidity, but here it's like if you wake up at 5, it could be 40, but then at like 12 o'clock, it's 60, 70 right now, and you don't know if you're going to get wind. So it's not summer yet. So technically, I have some leeway with whatever time I get up now. But once summer kicks in, yeah, even like it's sunny here. Like the difference between here and Florida
You guys are
is
closer to the sun.
close to the sun. It's super dry. There's no humidity, right? So it's
It's
just like,
different, right? It's different.
it's different. Like, don't get me wrong. I'll take Colorado over Florida all day. Cause humidity, you just walk out, you're
It's
dripping in
hot.
sweat. But
It's hot.
here, when it's hot, it's like, man, like, yeah, you better
Like an oven?
wear
Is it
some,
like an oven?
yeah. I'm not the best with like sun protection and protection and whatnot, but like here you kind of need it because you feel it, man. Like,
Yeah.
I've never been a shirtless runner,
Yeah.
probably for my bigger days. Out here, you just like, screw this.
It's
It's
too hot.
burning. And there's no shade. There's no shade in most
No,
places. So
I
that's the
guess
other
not.
part.
You guys even have grass.
Yeah, we don't I mean, well, you've been here a couple of times. Like, the grass is here, but then it's so sunny and like between the seasons, it just goes away. Like, it's rough out here. Like, you got patches and stuff, but there's great dirt and gravel, which a lot of people like running. It's easier on the knees and stuff.
But it seems like you guys have a huge community over there too of like runners, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I personally want to get more into it, especially with the podcast and stuff, and I will. What I've known, there's a lot of, I already follow a lot of clubs. I just haven't, I should probably get to that because when I was in Seattle, I was in a lot of run clubs, and
Oh,
it looks
really?
like Florida is starting to have a lot.
See, I
Yeah,
don't do any of this stuff, but I see them.
yeah, you see them, right? And somehow, maybe you can relate to this. Like, when I started, I kind of started running similar to you. I was just going out the door, waking up early and right before work, like 5, 6 a.m. And you somehow become a solo runner.
Yeah.
You get used to it. I lifted for years before running myself. 10, 2011 sounds like around the same time as you is roughly when I started lifting, or roughly about. And, you get used to lifting solo and running solo, and then you start doing your long run solo, and it becomes comfortable, I guess, and
Yeah.
you get used to it, which is helpful for races if you're not running in a pack.
I don't even know
But,
how to be a social runner, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be
I would
weird for me.
recommend it. Like, I did it more in Seattle, and I will get to it here. The thing I find here is that, yes, so we have Boulder, right? For me, Boulder's like 35 minutes away, and that's one of the meccas of America and running, and a lot of the elites
Is it?
live
It
there and
seems
stuff.
like it. It feels like it.
Yeah.
Just,
Oh yeah.
from what I
You
gather.
see them all the
Yeah.
time, and I don't know if you ever use the supplement Scratch.
Yeah.
They're based out of here. They have a cafe too, which is cool.
No kidding.
Yeah, cycling is big as well. So there's a lot. I just haven't delved into it. One, between getting used to the altitude and now an injury, but like, people are also fast here is what I'm getting at. So like, you want to do a group, but when the group goes out, easy run 8-minute pace, and you're
Jesus.
like, whoa, that's kind of my
This is a
tempo
workout
threshold
now.
here,
This is hard.
And I remember last year when I was getting ready for Chicago, and my coach was from Boulder, and at the time I had a coach, and he trains a lot of the like fast and elite people here. We had these run clubs, and I would kind of intentionally stay away, not for any bad reason. It's just like, hey, I had to run a certain pace or easy pace, and I knew if I went to this club, that was going out the window.
Yeah, because everyone's running fast.
So everyone's running fast, and you could do that, but then you're not following your plan or what you should be doing for running. I'll get into it this year because there's some, and actually I'll use that to ask you, but there's some training philosophies after now being certified and going down that rabbit hole of, now I'm addicted to like just how we get addicted to running shoes and who's on YouTube and the influencers and runners. Now I'm into the coaching part of it a lot, just out of natural curiosity. And I've been studying a lot of America coaches, and I nerd out on books. So like the America coaches, the Kenyan coaches, Ugandan coaches, Norway coaches.
So they all have different styles, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and with traveling, we just spoke about Japan. Like, they run in loops a lot, which is crazy. I've noticed now that I have kind of a coaching mindset from reading and being into it. I see all the runs of people, and their speed workouts are different than this country or this sector. Like, Europe runs a different way, in my opinion, now. So like,
oh my gosh, so you really,
I
really
like
dig into this.
Yeah, I'm all in it now, man. Like, some people, they coach and this is that, but like, I'm all into it now. I'm staring at like 10 books right now of running.
What?
As I say this.
Wow. Do you have people?
When
Do you
I
have some
I go in.
clients?
I have a few. I haven't fully gone into it. Like, and that's one thing I want to ask you as far as like inspiration. So like, I'm going to use this guy as one of the inspirations, but running to me came before this. Like, when I think of me personally running and coaching, like, I like to do stuff. Maybe it's a millennial older thing. Like, I wanted to prove myself a little bit more before I get too far into coaching. I feel like everyone online is a coach now or certified in something. And it's like, I relate to the people who've put in the work, which is why I love your stuff. I see you run daily. Like, David Goggins, I'm a huge fan, is the person I was alluding to. Is
yeah, I'm a fan.
He's running hella miles, and like, okay, I'm more inclined to listen, whether that be a good or bad thing. So I coach some people, like friends of mine who have asked and they know me. Like I had a group in Florida. I was in Florida last year in Naples in December to be exact. A month or two after Chicago, and I was coaching some friends of mine and people I used to work with in Florida. So I had about 5 people I coached. Some of them was full marathon. It was the West Palm. Sorry, I said Naples, the West Palm Beach
Okay.
full marathon.
I
The
wanted to
Trees
do
of
that one. Is that
Life
the
or Garden of Life.
yeah, that's the brand,
That one,
right?
yes. It's
Yeah.
the brand, right? The supplement, the healthy
Yeah.
supplement brand.
I almost did that
So I
one.
coached. It's a good. Funny enough, that was almost my first marathon in Florida. I got injured a couple of weeks when I was newer, right before doing it, and it
Okay.
just didn't pan out. And then I moved to Seattle for a bit. But yeah, I coach a few people now. I have one friend of mine I coach pretty consistently right now, just because he's wanted me to. He knows I do my homework, and usually around the fall season, I have about 4 or 5 people, and doing the podcast more now because I like this a little bit more, but eventually I plan to go down that rabbit hole. And especially now this year, I've spent a lot of time studying the different philosophies and methodologies of running, even the older stuff, the Arthur Lillards, the runners from the 80s versus now. Like I'm deep in it now
That
where
sounds
like,
like it is. But then a lot of it's going to be just your own personality and the stuff that makes you you, I guess. That will be the what separates you from others, I think.
yeah, I mean, we'll see. For me, it's all passion, right? Like if it leads to somewhere, like for me, like it's all a passion project and stuff, and definitely want to do more coaching, and I will towards later in this year. But
And then
there's
you
a
got to
lot of
see,
commonalities.
like, because people are going to be at different levels and have different goals. It seems like
Yeah,
a lot.
that
It
comes
just seems
up.
like a lot. When I think of coaching someone, I'm like, oh my God.
You got to be really into it, but also I would say the course slash company I did it is very good. Funny enough, they're also based out of Colorado, but it's UESCA. They're like one of the sanctioning bodies for coaching here. There's them, and then there's USTAF, the track and field.
Hmm.
Those are like the two main bodies I knew. So I looked up like the good place, and they talk about that. And as you read more and get into it, even after you're certified, there's nuances on how to treat. What helped me a lot else is once you see all these training philosophies, the one thing I will say, and to not go down a rabbit hole on coaching, that could be another time, but we run too fast, and everyone does this. We run too fast. We make too many mistakes on running too hard all the time is the common thread everywhere.
Really? So that's
America,
one thing you've
yeah,
noticed. Everyone runs.
that's one thing I've noticed. Like, I don't see you do this often, which is crazy to me because you run in heat and humidity all the time, but it's like people run their easy pace, and it's a cliche thing because everyone's in the zone too, but it's really not about that. It's really like people run their easy pace too fast, which leaves no room to train hard when you need the hard. Like easy days should be easy, hard days should be hard. And then when you look at like the countries who are doing well, here's the thing about Tokyo and Japan, right? As a whole, we don't hear about them often, but they were the greatest runners around the 80s. If you go to that country and you do a half, which I probably won't do for a long time, the first 100 runners will be under 70 minutes.
What? It's like that?
It's like that.
Man, that talking about feeling like you didn't show up. Like, oh,
That'd be a first place. And
yeah.
there's a guy I follow on YouTube who's amazing at documenting as he moved there, ran to Japan, which is a cool guy. But like, I've read a couple books on this, and like, everyone's really fast out there, and they don't train a lot of VO2 max stuff.
So what are they
If you
doing?
look at running, they're doing a lot of threshold and repeats in that like kind of moderate zone. If you look at Kenya, the Kipchoge's and all these other worlds, right? Like one of the things I've noticed is like, yeah, they run hard and they run a lot of mileage, but they're doing fartleks and like longer repeats where you look at like us or UK, it's always like, here's a speed work followed by another speed work, 10K half, 5K in the same workout. And it's like your newbie runner, for those listening, like your heart rate's still going to be 170 anyway.
Yeah, it's gonna be too
So
hard.
you're not really working those different zones for you. It's all the same to your body and mind. But
yeah, hard. Like, man, that was hard, no matter what you did.
yeah, so it's kind of hard. Like we're doing too much, honestly. Where like people like you, this is why I was giving you kudos. It's much better to do what you're doing and then do that consistency, running that base, right? Like if you're doing 50 miles per week consistently for months on end, it's so much easier for me to go like, hey, Mark, let's throw some speed because it's not going to tax you as much. You're doing 50 miles per week consistently, you know, plus you have heat and humidity and you're getting it done. So it's like less taxing on your body, where like you could go hard on some of these workouts versus someone who's like not yet consistent or doing too much mileage. It's all, yeah, there's nuances depending on where someone's at. And you mentioned basketball earlier, like you play basketball, that may or may not play into it. Some people play sports. That said, I'll ask you and pivot this back to you. Like, I know you mentioned earlier, like you kind of just do your runs, but like, what do you follow guidelines wise? Is there any guidelines? Or have you ever had a coach? Are you self-coached? You know, do you just go out and let me get the mileage? I know some days you run harder than others.
It's usually just to get the mileage, if I'm being honest. I just really want to get
Yeah.
that 50 miles a week. And unless there's a race, and if there's a race coming up, I'll change it up. I'll tack on a long run. I'll tack on the speed. But really, it really is just to get the miles. And I'm not in a hurry to get, like, as long as I'm out the door by that 5:50, no matter what pace I decide to do, whether it's like 8-minute miles or 10-minute miles, usually on average, I'd say it would be around 9, or it depends on the shoe. If I'm testing a shoe, you know, sometimes it's just a fast shoe. It just kind of makes you go faster, right? And um, as long as I get the miles in, that's all really that I'm concerned about. Because my goal is always gonna get to that 50.
Do you say you run? Would you say, sorry, you run by feel more?
Yeah. Or you know what? If sometimes I just want to get it over with. I just want to get this done, and I'm just gonna run. I don't even know. There's no expectation, and that's most days.
Yeah.
Or I'll tell you what, I listen to a lot of audiobooks, just regular books, right? And I already know that's going to be like 9:30 and up pace for me, because I'm listening to the story and I just need to get the miles in. So that's what's going to happen. Or I have like a running playlist, right? So if I'm listening to that, it's faster, and usually that means I just want to get this done and I'm probably tired. And I needed the faster music to at least keep me going.
Pump you up.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
because in my head I didn't want to run that day.
Man, that's very intuitive and a great tip. Like, let me throw on an audiobook. So I don't know if you did that intentionally, but like to slow down a little bit. Cause
Yes.
I've tried running with audiobooks. I'm running too fast for the book.
You're running too fast for the book, and it doesn't go well, right, together. So you just slow down, and you have to use like the shoe that's not that fast. And for me, if I really don't want to run, I'll put on a super shoe and knock
Okay.
out that 7 miles,
That's cool.
just so I can get those miles in. And you know, I know it's just me. It's just a personal goal. People say, "Why don't you rest?" I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't feel like resting. I'm good.
I mean, there's something to be said when you do it daily, right? It becomes routine. It's part of you. Like we all had those. Like I didn't run today. I feel groggy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and you have a routine and you got used to it. So it kind of would. In some runners, like when they don't run consistently, it actually backfires on them. Where like that 1 or 2 days off kind of sets up, like messes them up, because the recovery is part of their running the next day again. You know.
And for me, okay, so if there's a race, I'll rest before the race a little bit.
Of
Like
course,
if there's a half, I won't run the day before, or a full. I might not run for 2 days before. And of course, there's like a taper, you know, for a marathon. But I'm running so much for a half. There's no taper for me for a half. I don't need taper for that. You know, that's just me. As long as I'm getting all my miles, I feel like I can show up on whatever race. Because I don't know. At this point, I guess I'm just running because I just like running. And I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm going to be super competitive unless it's a race that, okay, I'm planning to do this. I'm going to go balls to the wall on this guy, on this one.
Do you feel like when you get into a race, like a mind shift happens? Like, okay, time to go fast.
You know, that last half that I did with the PR, it was so unexpected, mostly because I was not doing any type of training that involved that pace
Yeah.
for me, that I don't know what happened. I think for one, everything just kind of lined up. The shoe, I think the shoes helped, and
Yeah.
I got to the race so early. I think it was like an hour and a half early, because I had to get the bib. And you know, it's kind of like stressful when you don't have the bib, so you get there early and you're like, let me get there early so I can make sure I get the bib and I'm not stressed out if I have to go to the bathroom, da 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 yada yada. I had enough time to stretch. I stretched, and I think that made a huge. I don't stretch every day. I got to be honest. I don't. I'm not that guy that's doing yoga, you know, that I should probably be doing and probably make me a better runner. I don't do this stuff, right? But before this race, I had so much time. I was stretching everything. I was stretching my toes, my ankles, things that I
Damn.
typically
Okay.
wouldn't stretch. And I was just sitting there, and I continued to stretch. It was at least for 45 minutes. And when the gun went off for the race, after I think it was after 2 miles, I'm like, oh my God, I still feel good. I'm still going fast. And you know you're going fast because I was like,
Yeah.
I got this. I'm still in this. Because in my head, it's usually because I've done several halves. You know, a year I'll do several halves. And usually I'm like, oh, I'm tired. That was a bad move. But this time I didn't feel that. I just kept going.
That's awesome. Is half your favorite distance?
Yeah,
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Like 5K, no, because I'm not like super fast. You know, if I was like a super, I think maybe if I was younger and could probably improve my times, I don't think I'm there at this point. I don't think I can go
5K is
19.
hard, man.
It's 5K is too
5K is
hard.
super
It's
hard.
too hard.
Yeah, you gotta go. It's shorter, people think, but like you're going fast. It's hard, man. Heart rate's way higher than
It's
like
yeah, it's a different animal, and I think I enjoy a slow burn.
yeah.
But when you think of the marathon, it's intimidating. But this year I did two back to back, January and February. In my head, I was using that fitness from the first one, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to sign up for the second one and let's just see what happens. Because I
Nice.
did all that training. I was running all these long runs. I think I can just do it, and I did it, and it was okay. But it was like the best marathon. It had these huge. It was the Florida Marathon. It's over in Melbourne, Florida,
Okay. Yeah, I know
and it
Melbourne.
has
Yeah.
these huge bridges, and I was like,
Oh boy.
this was a huge mistake, but I still did it. And you know, I had a friend Laura who was also running, and she actually helped me finish because during those uphill, like at the I think it was the last couple miles, I was walking up. I was walking up the bridge. I'm like, I can't run. And then when she would catch up, she's like, "Come on, Mark, you gotta go. We gotta go." And then I would continue with her. But if she
Nice.
wasn't there, I would have walked it. I definitely would have walked it. So having a friend in a race does help. I don't know if people know that.
Yeah. That's something I wanna at some point dabble in. We'll see for my next race, like maybe run with a pack and see what that's like, because you hear about it a lot, but like when you run in groups, like there's something about like being pulled. So like I want to try that at some point. I wanted to ask you, like, how'd you get into Saucony, like, testing for them? I've always meant to ask you that even outside the
Ooh.
podcast. Like, what's that like? Are they your favorite shoes?
They are now.
They are now,
Well,
right?
this Endorphin Elite 2, when they first sent me that Endorphin Elite 2, that sounds like, gee, this is a different thing here. They have
Yeah.
something different here. And that when I tested that shoe is when I was like, okay, this shoe actually makes me excited to go out every day. And every
Nice.
day, if I'm tired, no matter what happens, it's gonna make me feel okay once I start going out with this shoe. But to backtrack, it started, I just got lucky. I just started, I saw YouTube videos of people saying you should apply to be a wear tester. I'm like, really? That's a thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I just started to go into all the websites,
That's
Nike,
cool.
Adidas, and Saucony. And then Saucony, I think I got lucky. I think they just randomly picked me,
That's dope.
and I happened to be the sample size. I'm a size 9. And so I think that's also a factor. And so now I think I'm just on a worker's list there. Someone who works there's list.
Yeah.
I'm on her list. And so they send me shoes. And luckily, it's usually, I guess, this person, she gets the race day shoes or like the higher end shoes. So it's always the pro series and now the elite. And I think I'm getting the Endorphin Pro 5 here shortly. Again, I tested,
Oh, that's
and
wild.
that's a good shoe too. So being in tune with the shoe community, I really think keeps me interested in running because I
Yeah,
want to
same.
know. I want to know the difference, right? You get it? Because there is a
It's like the
difference.
feedback toy. Like, yeah, for sure. Like, do we overdo it? Probably, but it makes it fun, right? Like, there's worse things out there.
Yeah, yeah. And last year's race day shoe is this year's, workout shoe.
It's funny. I ran in the Pro Fours in Chicago.
Did you like
I
it?
didn't
That's a
want to
good
go
one.
all out. I did. I had my beef with it, but I think it's a great shoe for most people.
It's heavy. I
And
felt like it was a little heavy.
I was okay with the heavy because I was training in it.
Okay.
like consistently. And that's one thing I like about it. You can train and still race in it. Like some of these shoes you have to preserve.
Yeah.
Because if you get a little too much mileage, that's it. It's not the same. I felt like those you can just run, train 200 miles and still have fun. And it's weird I felt what I'm about to say because it's probably worse in other shoes. So I think it's more of a training thing. And that's something I'm going to work on now as I recover and train. Now, similar to you, I'm going to go into a more like, I've always been consistent, but more like a daily grind of running, and I want to push the envelope with some of these new training philosophies. But what I'm getting at, I felt the shoe was pretty stiff for a shoe that's not supposed to be as stiff because they have the Elite now, which is like supposed to be the upper echelon of Saucony. I felt those were stiff enough, but it could have been a me thing and what we discussed pre-recording this as far as like quads and stuff. But like, I feel it's an overall great shoe. It's just, I felt like they were a little bit stiff after a while in a long run distance, but I think it was a great shoe. It's just, I don't know. I always wanted to try the Pro 3, and funny, I remember when you got the Pro
3.
4.
I love the Pro 3. I think the Pro 3
was good.
It might be my favorite shoe of all time at this point right now.
Super Blast for me.
You know what? I have the most miles in all of my shoes in my Super Blast 1. I'm using the Super Blast 2 now as a daily. I'm using that.
I got
and
those
the
in
Ace
Japan.
and the what is it? The Nova Blast 4, not the 5. So the Nova Blast 4 and the Super Blast 2 are what I'm currently dailying in.
Nice. Yeah, Asics is killing the game, man.
They are, right?
Well, they've been man, I don't know if you saw the new speed shoes coming out. They have 3 now.
I gotta try that. That Ray,
Edge.
Right? Meta
yeah,
Speed.
the Ray look. Right? The Ray scares me.
What is that? 4 ounce? Is there something there?
Yeah, it's like 4.5 ounces, and your sample size, so 4.5 ounces. It would be 4.5
ounces.
I think for me it'd still be like 4.9 or something because I'm a size 10, so like 2 over 9.5 and 10. It's still gonna be sub 5. The shoe scares me because I feel like it's super light, it's super bouncy. Like I'll work on this, but like I feel like your mechanics got to be really on point or be really fast to like get the most out of the shoe. So I'm a little fearful of the Ray, but I may try it. They look insane, and even the new Sky Edge Paris, they're coming in. I think 5
Yeah, they're on the website.
It's wild, man, what these shoes are doing nowadays.
Like if I go to the Kofax Expo,
yeah,
I'm like gonna look for shoes. If they have shoes, I'm gonna pick them up. In my head, I'm like, if they have that Meta Speed Ray.
I will say the expo was dope. The Kofax Expo is one of the dopest expos I've been to.
Okay, hey, if you can make it out there next Friday, I think my sister and I are planning to go.
Yeah, I'll hit you up. I sent you my number.
Yeah,
for sure.
I was actually going to text you today. I was like, let me just show up, and I'll text him later.
Yeah, I'll be. Funny enough, it's not even far from me, the expo or anything. Actually, the race starts a block up from me.
No kidding. Where are you like?
I'm at the park where it starts. By City Park where it starts?
I don't remember where she said it starts, but yeah. I looked at the map. I'm doing
the relay.
The 5th leg. The 5th person.
Okay.
So I think that's...
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I am excited to go and do that run.
When are you landing? Like the day before the race?
No. Friday. Next Friday.
Friday. And the race is Sunday?
Yes.
Okay. I think you'll be fine. I'm asking for altitude reasons.
No. I think I'll be. I mean, I don't know. I'll probably run on Saturday. And see if I don't die.
Want to ask you this because I know you got to go here shortly. And just to wrap up with this, if you could share any tips, insights from you starting to running and how you run now for anyone listening, just starting out or getting consistent, what tips would you say real quick you would share for the listener?
Keep showing up. Come back tomorrow and do it again. It's the only thing that matters. It's great that you did it today, but if you can do it tomorrow and the day after, you'll end up loving it eventually.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll leave it on that. For everyone listening, this has been the People Run Podcast. Keep showing up like Mark just said. This is the Run Behind the Runs, the People Podcast. Thanks for listening. And if this resonated with you, you liked it, share, subscribe, share with your friends, listen in, a comment. Thank you all. The People Run.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate you, man.